welcome one and all to a special two-part Christmas edition of Boroshin's Retrospectives. The games here were voted for by the Brighton fighting game community. And now your host Boroshin will take you through the fighting game festivities this season. In this second part, Real Bout Fatal Fury.
Real Bout Fatal Fury.
Hello and welcome to another Boroshin's Retrospectives, the part 2 to the Christmas Retrospectives. This time covering Real Bout Fatal Fury for the Neo Geo multi-video system and advanced entertainment system. Released in late 1995, only a few months after Fatal Fury 3, which I have already covered, and aimed to improve on the reason why Fatal Fury 3 wasn't received very well by casual players. And this game was far better received by casual players, but not nearly as well received by competitive players, which I'll get into. So basically, it uses a lot of the same sprites, and the sprites are all the same as in Fatal Fury 3. And there's 3 new characters that weren't in Fatal Fury 3 that are in this game. Billy Kane, Duck King, and Kim Cat-1. All of them returning from previous Fatal Fury games. And it still has the lane switch system. It's 4-button fighter, like all Neo Geo fighting games, as they only had 4 buttons on the cabinet. You've got punch, kick, strong attack, and a lane switch button, which you can also use. The lane switch button has a few other uses. For instance, if you press it when someone else is in a different lane, you use it to attack other lanes so that you can knock them back into the main lane. And then you also can, if you're in the air, quite an interesting feature, if you jump forward, say, and you're going to be jumping over them, but you want to do sort of a cross-up, you can press the lane switch button to flip your character around in the air. So you can use flip character around and then press your button so that your button that would usually hit in front of you hits behind you. So it's kind of an interesting feature. But the big feature of this game, the well-known feature, is the out of bounds. Basically, this game has ring outs. Now, on the sides of stages, there tends to be barriers of some kind, but not always, and you'll see this. I deliberately included the clip at the start to show you kind of what to expect from this game, and it's great. And basically, the barriers can be broken by hitting it with attacks or pushing your opponent sort of against it. Anything, even projectiles. If, say, a projectile misses and goes under the opponent, but the barrier is in the screen, the barrier will take damage from the projectile. And it's quite interesting. It shares a lot of things with Fatal Fury 3, in the sense like in Fatal Fury 3, where you get those sort of cool KO animations where something happens to the character. You'll see this in this second round with Andy. I knock him towards the screen, so you see him flying towards the screen, which is quite cool. Cost a lot of money, because those are some sprites they had to make for each character flying towards the screen. It's really cool. It has the same 2 life bar system as Fatal Fury 3 does. However, it does introduce also a new meter system, which has S power and P power. Basically, it's 2. Well, actually, it's technically 3, but a 2-bar meter system. Basically, S power is your standard sort of super, and P power can only be ascertained when you're in the second bar of your life, where it's flashing red, while your bar is fully filled up. So basically, if you're on like yellow life, it'll say S power. But if you're on the flashing red life, it will say P power. Basically, P power allows you to do an even more powerful super attack. S power allows you to do a standard super attack. When you're in the flashing red, it also allows you to do the S power attack for free. so you can do it whenever you like. So in the case of Geese, his S power is Raging Storm, which everyone will be quite familiar with, whereas his P power, he can either do Deadly Rave, or he can do Thunder Break. Thunder Break is basically just a more powerful Raging Storm. But yeah, it's really cool. For instance, another cool thing about like Raging Storm and things like that is it hits in all the lanes. So if someone's got like lane switches and they dash in on you, you can just Raging Storm them. Let's go fuck them up. It's quite cool. But yeah, here you'll see out of bounds. I sweep, damages the out, and there he's gone. Even though he's still got life, doesn't matter. Now that's not too ridiculous an example. Here we will see a much more ridiculous example on West Subway. I skipped 2 of the fights. You already saw a bit of my fight in the first place. But I'll skip to Kim. Now on the third fight on the arcade mode, it'll do the bit where it's complete at night. Now here, there is no barriers because there is no people. So basically anywhere, if you step anywhere near here, I'll step near the, I think I'll step near the sort of thing, and I get slightly touched, I think, at some point here. And I fall straight out. But there's more. There you go. I get tapped, and but you'll see even more ridiculous things. I believe Kim in the final round backdashes himself into a train, which sends him away. It looks very cool though. But yeah, this is the reason why the game wasn't received well by the competitive community, because things like that can happen. Where that was a basic combo into a basic special that just has good corner carry, and I won the round. It seems a bit stupid. However, casuals loved it, and understandably adds this cool feature of it doesn't matter whether you're low on life. If your positioning's correct, you could potentially get a ring out, much like in something like Virtual Fighter or Soul Calibur. You could do something like that, which I can understand why people like that. It is fun. It's genuinely a fun game to mess around in, but I can understand why the competitive community didn't like it. But yeah, here, look at that. That is great, isn't it? Also, these animations with the train and everything, that's just great. They put so much effort in. Also, this game also allowed you to play as characters like Chonrei, Chonshu, Yamazaki, who weren't playable in Fatal Fury 3. So essentially, you got certain characters who people wouldn't have played anyway because they were unplayable bosses. So this is the first time Yamazaki's actually ever playable in an SNK fighting game, technically. In terms of at least the arcade release. But yeah, I do like the game though. I think the music's good. I mean, the music reuses all of the Fatal Fury 3 themes for all the characters. Also, I really like the announcer. The announcer is the most English thing ever. But, you know, I enjoyed that. It's sort of a staple of Japanese fighting games is English announcers. You lost, and this fight gonna be really good. I like that. It's just cool. Also, it has a really good continue screen, which I've continue and game over, which I've left at the end. The ramping sort of not, I was about to say tension, but it's not tension, but it's like he's getting more and more sort of loud, I guess, in regards to you not actually putting some money in to continue. It's a good continue screen, and it definitely would make me want to continue and put some more money in. But yeah, the game it's fun, it's enjoyable, but the out of bounds mechanic makes it. I didn't get to show you the last stage, because the game technically only has 4 stages. It has different variations on them, which somewhat change the out of bounds, like the subway. The subway usually has the people, who are also the subway, as essentially barriers, but sometimes it changes them. This stage on the right, you have the elevator, which sometimes doesn't have any glass on it, and you can just smash through easy. It depends. So there's only like 4 stages, but they have different parameters for out of bounds depending on the variation, as it were. But yeah, that one, you can fall in like a river between a boat, you can roll into a boat, you can get electrocuted on it. It's kind of a bit weird. But yeah, it's good. There is also a final stage, which is I think it's actually an endless stage. It doesn't even have corners, which is on Geese's tower, because Geese is the actual main boss of the game. But yeah, I do like the game. It's fun. It's fun to mess around in. But I think Fatal Fury 3 might be slightly superior in terms of at least overall gameplay. They did give new moves and new attacks to characters, which is quite cool. From Fatal Fury 3, so it wasn't like the Fatal Fury 3 cast didn't go untouched. They gave them new like specials and things here and there, new supers as well. But yeah, thanks for watching the the Christmas retrospectives. That I do wish everyone who watched this and anyone who doesn't watch it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you don't watch it, you're probably not hearing this message, so that's a bit pointless. But everyone, have a Merry Christmas, and I hope you've enjoyed both the retrospectives here on Real Bout and as well as the retrospective on the fantastic fighting game Minesweeper, which I do hope sometimes some competitive play will show up. But yeah, also this super here, Honfu Super, that's really hard to block. Like you get pushed out and then all of a sudden it's a cross up, really hard to block. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the new year probably for another retrospective at some point. What it'll be, don't know. I'll see you next time.